Creating a dependent list in Excel can help you work efficiently. It'll streamline your data input, and that's something which is welcome always. There are many ways in which you can create a dependent list, and some of these can be complex. In this video, I will show you a method that is robust and yet simple enough. So let's get started. This is my second video in the series. The earlier method had two limitations. First, we could not use parent names which had spaces in it. And second, we had to update our lists every time we added new values to the list. This method that I will show you in this video addresses both these limitations. In case you're interested in the other video, then you can find the link in the description below. We have a list in column B which shows the product names. And basis the product we select, in column C, I want to display what are the accompanying gifts, out of which the customer can claim one. The gifts for each of the products are mentioned in columns E, F, and G. So as you can see, we have a space in one of the product names, smartphone. So we can be sure that we are addressing the first limitation in this example. Let's look at the solution. The first thing we will do in this solution is create three tables. These tables are the structured references. You can easily create them using the Format as table on the home menu. We mostly use these for formatting, but the real power of this is in the functionality. Let's take a quick look at structured references before we proceed further. I have the list of values here. If I select these and click on Format as table, I create a structured reference table. I can give it a name here if I want. Let us call it gifts. Now, as I write gifts here, you can see the IntelliSense has started recognizing the word gifts. It displays the content of the table. Not the header, just the values. Now if I add a value here, it is automatically included as part of the table, and it updates here as well. There is so much more to structured references, but that's all we will discuss in this video. Coming back to our dependent list, we will create three tables. The first one will be for laptop. I will select the cells E1 to E3 and click on Format as table. Let's rename it as T laptop. Similarly, I will create for smartphone. We can call it T phone. And let's create one for tablet. We can call it T tablet. Now we are done with step 1. Let's move to the next and final step. I will show you two methods. The first one using ifs, which you can also write using nested if. The second one using the index and match functions. Let's begin with the first one, where we use the if statement. Let's go to the cell C2 and write the formula. The formula is very simple. Let's begin by writing ifs. The first logical test is if the value in cell B2 is equal to laptop, and value if true 1 will be T laptop, which means display the content of the table T laptop in case the product name is laptop. Similarly, we'll write the next two conditions and values. If the value in cell B2 is equal to smartphone, then display the contents of T phone. And finally, if the value in cell B2 is equal to tablet, then display the contents of the table T tablet. Now you can see it is displaying the values here as a dynamic arrays output. If you don't know what a dynamic array is, then you can see my videos on them. You don't want to miss those. Links are in description, but for now it's not so important. If you're using a version 2019 or earlier, then you will not see the output. Don't worry, the solution will still work. We can copy this formula as text and paste it in data validation. And now we can delete it from here. Then go to data menu, data validation, list, and paste it in source. And we get this strange error. This is because data validation does not understand structured references. So what do we do now? We will use a simple workaround. OK, cancel. We will create a named range. Again, if you're unfamiliar, links are in description. Go to formulas and click on define name. Paste the value here and give it a name. Let's say dependent list. OK. Select all these cells, go back to data, data validation, list, and in source we will write equal to dependent list. And we have our dependent list ready. Now in cell B2 we have laptop, and in C2 we have the gifts for laptop. In cell B3 we have tablet, in cell C3 we have the gifts for tablet, and similarly for smartphone. So one thing we've seen that if the parent name has a space, this solution works. Smartphone has a space in it, and this solution works for smartphone. Now the next bit. I'm going to add another gift item for tablet. Let's say screen guard. Now if I check here, it is automatically added in the dependent list. Now if you still have the appetite, I will show you the next method with index and match. Let's clear these values and let's remove the list. I'm going to change that to any value. Now we don't have the list here. This method will show you a relatively lesser used version of the index function. When I first understood the functionality of this version of the index function, it was mind-blowing. I'm sure you will find it amazing too. Let's write index. Now you see there are two descriptions. The first description is what we use generally. Now if you see that second description, it has the first parameter, which is called reference, and then there is an additional parameter in the end, which is called area num. Now this parameter reference, it allows you to refer more than one table to the index function. And then using the area num parameter, you can select which one to use. Since reference contains multiple tables, we will write all the values in a pair of brackets. The tables we may need to refer are T laptop, T phone, T tablet. Close the bracket for reference. So based on the value of the product, we will display the content from one of these tables. Now the next parameter is row. We want to display all the rows. In most cases of index, we will give a number like 1, 2 or 3 to indicate the row we want to consider. But here we want index to show all the rows. So all we will do is press comma and not provide any specific number. This tells index to display all rows. And now we move to column. So we will write 1 as each of these tables has only one column. Now we move to the last parameter, area num. Here we need to tell Excel the table that index should select. For that we can use the match function. Match. Lookup value will be the value in cell B2. Because basis this, it will display the corresponding table's content in the dependent list. Now this B2 is for the dependent list in cell C2. Once we copy this formula in data validation, then Excel will refer to the adjacent cells for displaying the contents in column C. So for instance, for C3, it will refer to the content in B3. for C4 in B4 and so on. For the lookup array, we will select the headers, fix the reference, 0 for exact match, close the bracket for match and then for index. And we have the result. Let's copy the formula as text, Control C or Command C, clear the contents here. Now we've already seen that data validation does not recognize structured references. So we'll create a name range. Let's go to formulas, define name, paste the value, give a name. Let's say dependent list 1. Press OK. Select all the cells in column C where we want the list to appear. Go to data, data validation. In allow, select list. And in source, equal to dependent list 1. Let's test the formula. For laptop, only the gifts associated with laptop are shown. For tablet, only the gifts associated with tablet are shown. And similarly for smartphone. Now if we add keyboard as one of the options for laptop, we see keyboard appear as one of the options in the list as well. So there you are. This is how you can make dependent lists that grow automatically and take any kind of input. This method though is simple compared to other methods, but it does take some practice. When I initially learned this method, I had to practice this a few times before I became comfortable with it. In case you also need to, I can assure you from experience that it will become simple with just a few rounds of practice. Therefore, it is totally worth investing that effort. If you found this useful, then please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your actions will go a long way in supporting us. Thanks for watching.